establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency, January 20. Yeah. By the authority vested, yada, yada, yada. The executive order establishes Department of yada, yada, yada. Look at this. By modernizing federal technology and software to maximize government efficiency and productivity. Now, did you see anywhere in there that says auditing the budget, determining waste, fraud, or abuse? No. And that's section 1, the purpose. The purpose right here. Purpose. Right? Establishes by modernizing federal technology and software to maximize government efficiency and productivity. I didn't see them saying or anything about auditing the systems for waste, fraud, or abuse. No, it looks like they are going there to modernize software, right, and technology to maximize government efficiency and productivity, not slashing budgets, not killing programs, not firing people, right? Did you see anywhere? Does it say? Where does it say? Firing people? No. Auditing systems? No. It only says modernizing federal technology and software, maximizing efficiency and productivity. That's it. That's all they can. They don't have any authority to do anything they're doing. Section 2. Right. It says, now they're going to yada, 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 president bullshit. Agency head. It doesn't even name an agency head. It's not Elon Musk. It says, such as the separate secretary. He's not a secretary. Administrator. He's not an administrator. Not a chairman or director. He has to be put into that role, and he has to go before Congress, or the Senate actually, to be confirmed. Kind of like, Rajneesh there at the FBI, right? He has to be confirmed to be a secretary, administrator, chairman, or director. He's not. He's nobody. He's Joe average person doing, illegal things in the government. Unless otherwise specified in this order. Well, otherwise specified. Well, he's none of these. So, section 3. DOGE structure. Now, this is the most important part. Reorganization and renaming of the United States Digital Service. So he's not even creating DOGE. He can't create a new agency. Only Congress can do that. So he's just renaming the United States Digital Service as DOGE. Look, it says, the digital service is hereby publicly renamed. Renamed. Not created. Nothing about creating a new DOGE. They just renamed the digital service. That's it. and it only has the same authority that it had before, right? So it just has a new name, but it still has only the things that Congress gave to the United States Digital Service, right? Authority wise, they don't have new authority, and shall be established in the executive office of the president. Well, we'll see if that is actually legal. That is something the courts has to decide. So, establishment of a temporary organization. Yeah, temporary. Right? So even renaming it, it's only temporary. So there shall be a USD administrator, yada, 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 and per to the White House chief of staff. Yeah, well, they're part of the executive, so yes, they have to report to the president. There is further established within USDS, which is, he's saying the digital service. Well, he doesn't even change it to DOGE in accordance with the section, yada, 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 a temporary organization known as USD DOGE Service Temporary Organization. Yeah, so now he's saying, oh, I renamed the digital service to DOGE, but now within DOGE, there's a separate little US DOGE service that's temporarily organized. Does that make any freaking sense? No. The U.S. DOGE service, temporarily organized, shall be headed by USDS administrator. Well, who's the administrator? It's not Elon Musk. He hasn't been sent before Congress, right? Because you have to be sent before Congress, right, to be an administrator of a U.S. service agency, and shall be directed or dedicated to advancing the president's 18-month DOGE agenda. Yada, yada, yada. But that's not their duty, right? Now he can say, oh, they need to advance my agenda within their government agencies' parameters. They're not a budget agency, right? They're not a waste, fraud, and abuse agency. So, according to his 18-month agenda, they can only do what they are allowed to do. And none of this says waste, fraud, or abuse, or firing people, or doing any of that. They can only modernize software and systems. That's it. The U.S. DOGE service, temporarily organized, shall terminate. Yeah, so they're only good for 1 year, terminating on July 4th, 2026. Now, I don't know, maybe Elon has, an appointment or something, he has to fly to Saudi Arabia or take money from Russia, or maybe he has to go to China to oversee his, Tesla factory. Who knows? Well, why January 4th, 2026? Do they think it's like, oh, the government will be destroyed by then? I guess so. Determination of the U.S. DOGE Service Temporary Organization shall not be interpreted to imply determination, attenuation, or amendment of any other authority or provision of this order. Yeah, which means they're still the USDS Digital Service Organization. They just will have that same freaking name, and they can't do any more or less than they did before. DOGE team. Oh, here we go. In consultation with the other, each agency head shall establish within their respective agencies a DOGE team of at least 4 employees. Oh, so now he's saying in consultation with DS, right? That within respective agencies, they'll have a 4 DOGE team in every agency. I wonder if they're going to be federal government employees or whether they're, China or Russian hacks or US hacks, you know, hired or assigned within 30 days of the, So it's just more bullshit. Now, look, modernizing federal technology and software to maximize efficiency. Now, look, I will go through here. And do you see anything improve the quality and efficiency of government-wide software? Network infrastructure. That's like network, like your cable modem, your servers that all your computers are connected to. Information technology systems. Do you see anything about says budget or firing people, waste, fraud, abuse? No, I don't see it. Still working through this DOGE, thing. Among other things, shall work with agency heads to promote interoperability between agency networks and ensure data integrity. Yeah, that's like security, right? Data integrity is security. Don't let people view or access sensitive data, which apparently DOGE is violating, and facilitate responsible data collection and synchronization. Yeah, which means how they collect the data from you and me, right? Maybe with a web page, inputting it, into the system. Synchronization is how they synchronize the data from one system to another system. Within the US government, not with outside hackers like Elon Musk and his little, band of goons. Still nothing about budgets, reducing waste, fraud, or abuse. So they still don't have this authority. Agency head shall take all necessary steps to coordinate with USDS administrator, who we don't know who that is. Maximizing prompt access to all unclassified agency records, right? Software systems and IT systems. Now, when they say access, that doesn't mean downloading. That doesn't mean moving it to another server. It only means access to agency records. It doesn't even say private records of individual taxpayers or individuals. It just says unclassified agency records. So that needs to be clarified by the courts, because agencies have a lot of records that are internal to the agency, right? They have nothing to do about you or your data or anything. It's just agency records. And software systems, okay? So again, the programs and IT systems. which is the rest of the, servers, networking, yada, yada. Still no budget, no fraud, no firing people, right? So, still nothing about DOGE having that ability to do any of this or even look into it. It doesn't say, or look into budgets or firing people or fraud or abuse. None of that. It doesn't even say that you can look into that. So why are they looking into it? They're spending all their time looking into that, and they have no authority to do that. Yeah, it says, shall adhere to rigorous software protection standards. Well, I seriously doubt that. Displaces all prior executive orders and regulations insofar as they subject to direct presidential amendment, sort of a barrier, providing DOGE access to agency records and systems as described above. Okay, so he's trying to give them access to agency records, but it still doesn't clarify your personal data. Only agency records. So let the courts figure that out, because most people in IT that write software, right, and I was one of them, do not have access to your personal data. That is highly sensitive data. And you don't need it to write software. Seriously. I don't need to know your social security number. I don't need to know your address. I don't need to know your phone number. I don't need to know how many taxes you paid. I don't need to know anything about you to write software. Right? I know you have a name. I know you have an address. I know you have a phone number. That's all I need to write the software. I don't need to see that data. So why is DOGE perusing or downloading or filtering it through AI for reasons that we don't know? Because they don't need that access to do what they're saying they are allowed to do: write software, improve software, and digital systems. So we'll just, comb through more of this. Yeah, and now we're down to the bottom. I mean, you can stop my video. You can read it if you want, right? I showed you the whole thing. This is the bottom, right? There's no more, right? Boom, I'm at the bottom. This is the White House, right? Their website. If you go to whitehouse.gov, this is what you'll see, right? You can search, right? Find establishing the implementing Department of DOGE, yada, yada. And you can see all this, right? Just like I did. It's publicly available. So my point in making this whole long video is I want somebody from the MAGAs, right? The MAGA establishment, to tell me, where the hell does it anywhere say in establishing DOGE making Elon Musk the administrator? It doesn't. His goons are not even federal employees. And in this, it gives them no authority over budgeting, spending money, fraud, waste, and abuse. Nowhere. Just, tell me. Where does it say that's why they are going into these agencies, is to find fraud, waste, and abuse? That's not their job. They just renamed the digital service, which it says their job is to modernize and make software more efficient and make the infrastructure of the government more efficient so that they can do their job much cheaper, right?